Sup guys, welcome back. As I said in the last video, I was going to do the slots so we can equip our items and weapons. So basically, if you go into your inventory, you're going to have this, at least I have in my texture, this 1, 2, 3, 4 over here. So this is going to be basically the keys. So whatever is the item that we drag over here is going to be the item that we're going to use or equip. So how are we going to do that? Well, we are going to use the item slots, and we're going to basically create the drag and drop, so you can drag from our inventory into our equipable slots. So what I'm going to do, first of all, is I'm going to go into our item slots, and I'm going to create a variable, call it is I guess usable slot. So we're going to use this variable to drive if this slot is one of those that we can equip or use or not. So let's go over here into the inventory. Let's search for item slot, and let's drag into our canvas panel, in this case into our overlay, and let's set it to the middle. Well, I'm actually going to drag this into the canvas panel, so I can actually drag it over here. So I'm going to check just the size of the slot. So it's 80/80. So let's put that over here in the size. And let's drag this into over here. They don't really fit, but it doesn't matter because I'm only using this texture as a placeholder, so that's gonna be fine. And then I'm just going to put this here. That's fine. And I'm going to call this the usable slot 1. Then I'm just going to duplicate these 3 times. So I'm gonna drag this one over here, and I'm going to say this is the usable slot 2, and drag the anchor. And I'm going to drag this into the 3rd one, usable slot 3. Then I'm going to drag the last one over here, and I'm going to call this one usable slot 4. So I'm just gonna go and set just a little bit of a different color. So I'm going to type one color 060606FF, so it's a little bit of a gray. And I'm just going to do that so I can actually see where the slots are. And well, I guess I'm going to add a little bit of alpha over here. I guess a 0.5. It's going to be fine. So let's play. Let's see how that looks. So you can see that you got the default details over here. That's why the image is a blank one. But that's an easy fix. Let's go over here, and we can set that if we select every single one of them and go into the details. I'm just going to call this free slot. Actually, I'm going to call that usable slot. I'm not going to put anything on the description, and the thumbnail I am going to put something well, I guess now I would use a texture like a 80/80 texture and put it over there, but I guess I'm probably not gonna have one of those over here, so I'm just gonna use a random one. Just gonna use this one. That's fine, but I think if I'm not mistaken, okay, that's gonna be fine. Okay, I'm just going to change, no, actually I think I use this texture for this item. Let me just check because I don't want to be confused later on. Yes, I do. I'm going to pick this just to be different. Well, and now that we have these items, now we need to create our drag and drop operation. So we gotta go into our item slot, go into the graph, and now you got this little button over here on the functions called override, and you're going to override where is it, on drag detected. So on drag detected, you're going to create a drag and drop operation. The class can be the default. The payload is going to be ourselves. Actually, I'm going to get the details for the payload. I can't. Okay. Well, I'm just going to get the entire slot. That's going to be fine. So I'm going to get a self. And the default drag visual, I also want it to be ourselves. So we keep our like our image, our thumbnails in that, and the rest of the information. And now, after we create the drag and drop operation, we return it over here. But before this works, we're going to have to do on mouse button down, and we have to do mouse event. I think it's going to be drag and drop under widget event reply detect drag if pressed, and we're going to do this for the left mouse button. If you want another key or the right mouse button or whatever, that's fine, but I'm going to use the left mouse button. And now we can actually see this working. So if we pick up an object, you can now pick it up. Actually, that image is too small. I need to get a bigger one over here in our item so we can see. I should have looked at the size of the texture. This is 8 by 8, so it's very small. I'm gonna get the default texture over here. It's gonna be fine. And now you're gonna be able to see it better. So now you can see, and you can drag and drop this like that, and you can now if you drop, it's not going to do anything. And yeah, this texture is a little bit too big. I think I'm probably not setting the size over here, so I probably should wrap this up with a size box of 80 by 80. Make this on the middle. There you go. Actually, I don't think that's gonna work. Well, let's just see how it looks. Because I don't want the slot to be of the size of the image, I want it to be a fixed size. There you go, now it's a fixed size and it's the same size of this one. That's what I wanted. So right now, if you drag and drop, it's not going to do anything, because we need to set up one last function. So go into the item slot, override and on-drop. So this is going to be where most of our code is going to be handled. And basically, first of all, we want to know if this is a usable slot, and we only want to do the switch out the slots if this is a usable slot. And if this is true, well, we're going to get the operation, we're going to get the payload, then we're going to have to cast to the item slot. Let's convert this to a pure cast, and now we can get the details out of it. Now we're going to get the details from the widget we are dropping into, and we are going to set it. And now we're going to connect over here and say this is true. And another thing that I'm going to need to do is go into our inventory, select the 4 of these, and I'm also going to need to go into our item slot, and I'm going to make this is usable slot instance editable and expose on spawn, because now I want to override them over here. So is usable slot for these 4, you want to turn this to true so the code actually works. So now if you actually play, now you can pick them up, and well, you actually, if this is a weapon, you do not want to be able to drag it. If you don't want to be able to stack it, because you don't want to have two weapons in the same slot. But if you drag, you can see that now it stays, and it's only going to equip one, because we are not setting the number of items in slot, we are only setting the actual details. And you can actually equip it to various slots, so if you want to equip the same things with different keys, you can. And now if we want to unequip, or basically set this to nothing, we are basically going to create, let's see, okay, let me actually see. Can we get the location? No, we can't. Get screen space position. So I'm actually going to want to do a check. So if this is false, I just want to check if I'm dropping this into nothing. So if I drag and drop something over here, I want it to basically to unequip, but that's actually not a very good idea, because I'm going to use the drop from inventory to be on this location. So if I want to drop to unequip one of the slots, I think I'm just going to right click on it. That should be enough. So let me just go into, let's override one mouse button up, and the mouse event, I'm not sure, let me just search widget. I'm not sure if this is the way to do this. Well, I basically just want to know if I'm right-clicking something. I don't remember where I can check. Because I do not want this. Now let me just try something up. Let me print a string. I guess I need to connect something there, which I do not have. Okay, let me just check. I just want to find a way to unequip an item from a slot. You know, guys, so I'm not occupying your time, I'm just going to pause the video, figure out a way, and then I'll get back in a minute. Okay, so I think I found a way. I'm going to use on mouse button double click. So I'm going to use, if you double click a slot, it's going to unequip it. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to first of all check if the slot that I double clicked is a usable slot. And if this is true, I'm just going to set the details. I'm going to set the details to, let's connect this up. You need to drag from the return value and make an event reply for you not to get a warning. And now I'm going to set this up to the same as I have over here in the details over here on this side. So I'm just going to call it usable slot. There you go, usable slot, and the thumbnail is going to be the default diffuse TC masks. For now, obviously that's going to change in the future, but I'm going to just get that. There you go. So now if we go into the game, let's put the windows in the correct place. I'm going to try this with the client now, and if I pick this up and I drag it into a slot, now if I double click, you can see that it gets back to default. And actually on the description, drag item or weapon to assign to slot. So I'm just gonna have this description so the player can see what that slot is for, and I'm just going to paste this on all of these over on the inventory. So with that, we should now get this. If we drag and drop, you can see that we have the weapon. On these ones we add drag item or weapon to assign to slot. And if you drag into a normal item, it's not going to do nothing because this is not supposed to happen. So now another thing, if you toggle the inventory, this is going to disappear. So this is where we are actually going to go into our master human, and we're going to have to create variables for this slot. So there are going to be 4. So, well, first of all, I'm going to create a new variable, and I'm going to call it slot1, and I'm going to create a new category and call it slots. I'm going to have to organize all these variables, but for now I'm not going to do it. I'll do it between videos, and I'm just going to call this item details and make sure these are replicated. And now I'm just going to duplicate this into slot 2, slot 3, slot 4, and now I'm just going to have to set its details again to the same details that we are having over here. So I'm just going to right click and copy over in this little arrow of the details, go back into the master human and paste these. So if we go into our inventory, and now you're going to have to set these. So I'm going to go and make this, they're already variables, so I'm going to go into the graph, event graph, and on event construct. I'm going to create a function over here in the inventory, which I'm going to call set slots, or set usable slots. And I'm going to call it here. I'm just creating a function to keep this a little bit more clean. And now I'm just going to basically get all of these. And now I'm going to basically set the details of each one. So I'm just going to copy and paste this 3 times. And connect this up. And now, well, to get the actual details, now I gotta get the character. So I'm going to get the owning player, then I'm going to get the control of pawn, then I'm going to cast to the master human, then I'm going to get slot 1, get slot 2, get slot 3, and get slot 4, and now connect all of these up. And sorry about the mess, but there's a lot of stuff like this. We need to do these. Let me just There you go. It's a little bit better. So let me compile and save. So these uses, so we get the references from our character and then setting the ones in our widget. But now we need to do the other way around. So you need to go into the inventory, graph, then we're gonna have that event. We need to get the destruct, and when we destroy this, we are going to grab go into our master human, and we're going to need to create 2 more events. So one is going to be client underscore set slot, and I guess I'm gonna say set slots. That's gonna be a little bit easier. And no, I'm actually going to need to separate them. So set slot 1 server underscore set slot 2. I actually don't need this. Yeah, I don't need to separate. I'm sorry. Yeah, I shouldn't have deleted that. So I'm just going to say server set slots, because I'm only going to use these set slots with the humans, because on the players, because on the AI there's only going to be one equipped weapon. There's not going to be really slots for the AI, so I'm not going to reuse these functions for the AI, so it's fine. We do not need to indicate which ones, because we always want to get the ones from the inventory. So I'm not going to want to do this here. I'm going to do this on the server, and I'm just going to set them. There you go. Come on. Pretty simple. Now we just create our normal inputs. Like that. Then we're going to call server set slots. And we create our inputs again. And I'm just going to comment this. Come on. Set usable slots. Now I'm going to go into our inventory. When you destruct, I'm going to get the owning player. Well, I guess I can just go over here and copy this. No need to be typing everything again. And then I'm just going to call set client set slots. And now it's easy. We just go into and get our slots over here like that. Let me just put this a bit up. And now we just get the details. Just copy and paste this 3 times. And there you go. So that should be it. If I didn't forget anything, everything should be working fine. So let's try with the server. Let's pick 2. Let's put equip slot 3 and 4. And now if we open and close our inventory, those get saved. So that's fine. And later on, when we do the save game system, we can just save the variables from the players, and this will carry on. So that's going to be cool. Let's try that out with the client. Let's pick 2 of them. Let's set just on the slot 1, and if we toggle, it's going to be there. So that's the behavior we expected. It's working on server and clients. So that's it. So in the next video, I'm going to leave this one here. And the next video, I'm going to start maybe now on showing actually be able to use the slots that we're setting over here in our character. So I'm actually going to enable how to use them. So we're going to spawn and set a static mesh as a weapon, attach it to a scalable mesh, and then from there we'll start doing shooting mechanics and stuff like that. But one step at a time. We're getting there. I'm really liking the way these things are going. We are working very organized. Stuff is working well. So yeah, It's very cool. Leave me comments on the video if you want other mechanics or ideas and stuff like that. I'll appreciate that, because I have the general idea for the game, but I'm not sure about everything. So new ideas are always welcome. Check out Patreon if you want to help me or you want to get these project files. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.